Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to discuss about null check in Apex coding. So how important is null check in Apex coding? It can prevent exceptions. Some of the common exceptions that we can prevent are null pointer exception or attempt to dereference null object. It can reduce the number of queries run per execution, and also it can improve the performance of SOQL queries. All of these we will see with an example. Now let us take a look at the methods for null or blank checks. We have four important methods: is blank, is empty, is not blank, is not empty. So on the right side, we have the values when these methods will return true. So is blank will return true whenever there is a white space or empty or null. Similarly, is empty will return true if it is empty string or it is null. Is not blank will return true if there are no white spaces or it is not empty or not null. Is not empty will return us true when it is not empty or not null. Now let's take a look at these methods with an example. We have anonymous code here to explain is blank method and is not blank method. Similarly, is empty method and is not empty method. So in these examples, we have declared three variables. One is blank, which is not having any value, and one is null, and one is white space. This variable has some spaces within it. Now, when I run this particular system.debug statements, so it will give us whether it is true or false. Observe here, we have declared one more variable alpha with value as hello, and we are using not of string dot is blank. Okay, now let me try to run this first example. So here it has returned true in all these four cases because is blank of blank is true, is blank of null string is true, is blank of white space is true, and not of is blank is true because alpha is having some value in the string. Similarly, we can try other examples, but one thing to note here is empty method will consider white spaces also as not empty. So when I run this particular example, so this will return me false. So let us take a look at this. Let me try to run this. As I said, is empty of white space is false. So this is empty method will even consider white spaces as a string. So string dot is empty of white space is false. Now let us take a look at the importance of null check before running a SOQL query. In this example, we have a list of account and we have a string called city name. And in the line number 13, we are running a query without having any check on the string city name. So this will consider as one SOQL run, even though we don't get any desired records. In this second example, where we are having a null check on the string, so when this string is empty or when it is blank, so we are not running the SOQL query. Similarly, in this example, we are not running the SOQL query since the string is blank. Now let us discuss about the importance of null check while using other string methods. In this example, we have a variable called city name and we are trying to use contains method on this city name variable. Now let us run this in the anonymous window and see what happens. Now let me run this anonymous code and see what happens. And we get an attempt to dereference null object. This is because we have contains method on a string city name, but city name is blank. Now if I run this code where we have a null check, we can prevent that attempt to dereference null object. So we don't get any error and the code got executed successfully. Now let us take a look at importance of null check in collection variables like set. In this example, we have declared a set with name as city set, and we have a list of accounts, and we are trying to run a query at line number 83, where we have a filter criteria billing city equals to city set. Since this city set is empty as of now, so this query will be run without giving any desired records. But whereas when we have a empty check, okay, when it is empty, this SQL query will not be run, thus preventing the number of SQLs run in the overall transaction. Now let us take some examples where a set can have an empty string or a null string. So is it possible for a set to hold these values? Now let us run this anonymous code to find out. Yes, it is possible for a set to have a null entry or an empty string. So what does this mean? This means that whenever a set is having an empty entry or a null entry, then the performance of the SOQL can be reduced. So let's take this example where city set is having an empty string and also null, and we have declared a list of account as a variable, and we are trying to run this query. Okay, now let's see what happens when we run this query. As you can see here, the debug statement shows 3 accounts, and only one account has a value of New York in the billing city, whereas other 2 accounts doesn't have any value in the billing city, but still they were retrieved in the query. So how can we avoid retrieving the records where the value is blank or null? So we have methods where these are the set methods. We have remove, which removes the particular element in the set. So when we run this, it removes an empty string, and when we run this, it removes the null entry in the set. So now let us try to run this anonymous code after removing these 2 values in the set, and then try to run the uh, query. So before we run this query, let me add a billing city in the select clause. Yeah, I'm trying to run this. Let's see what happens. Now you can see we retrieved only one record where billing city is New York. Earlier we retrieved 3 records. So these were the 3 records that were retrieved when the set was having a blank string or a null entry. But now we have retrieved only one record. Hope you like the video. Please do like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.